Okay, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. This is chapter 4. It's about UAE economy. Uh, let's start. Okay. Now, I gave you this question: to what extent has economy of the country changed since the discovery of the oil? Now, if you remember, before the oil was discovered in the 30s and before that, the major contribution of the economy of the country was fishing and pearl, and of course the sheep and agriculture. Now, after the discovery of the oil, there was a rapid and major change of the economy, and there was a huge diversification in this regard. Now, let's start. Now, in 1960, the population of the people were only 95,000 people. This is in 1960. Now, the oil was not a major product because it was, if you remember, it was discovered in 1950s, and then the first cargo was in 1962. So the population of people were very small, like in 95,000 people only. Okay. Now, in 1968, so after 8 years, the number almost doubled. The number almost doubled to 180,000. Okay, fine. Now, oil was discovered in Abu Dhabi for the first time in 58. I told about it, and the first exported in 19. It was first exported in 1962. Now, after this date, in 1968, all the people around the world started to come to UAE for work because there was a huge change. There was like a lot of money coming to the country. That this is the major thing. And the second thing, like the country opened its hand to any nationality around the world to come and help contribute in developing the country in all fields, in every single field. Now, the salaries were much higher at the time in UAE than any other country. So that's why people actually were so attracted to come and work in the country. Now, in 1968, the foreigners were almost 36% of the population, and this explains the rapid change from 95,000 to 180,000 in 8 years only. Okay. In 1971, 90% of the economy was from oil. Now, we know that already. Okay, nowadays, because of the diversification of different fields, and we will talk about it in a minute, the share of oil was only 30%. Okay. Now, nowadays, the economy of UAE is the second largest economy of in the Arab countries. So Saudi Arabia is the first, and United Arab Emirates is the second. In 2017, the GDP of UAE was about 1.46 trillion dirhams. That's almost $400.3 billion. Okay. Now, what is the relationship between the economy and the other aspects of life? This is what you need to know. High unemployment rate means trouble, means instability of the country, and means poverty, means robbing, means family breaking. Okay. Now, low rate of unemployment means satisfaction and stability, so they will have more jobs, more money, more stability, safe country, the power of purchase will be much higher, and people will be happy. Okay. Now, these are the things that dimensions of the economic growth. Now, these are the things, the diversification of the economy of the country from 1971 and above. Before that, I told you about it already, like 2 3 things only about the fishing and pearls and like very simple stuff. Nowadays, because of the discovery of oil and people coming and the huge and rapid development of the country, you will have different fields in manufacturing. Number one, agriculture, food industries, commerce, real estate, which is very important, this major thing, and tourism in Dubai, for example, and trading in some of the ports, right? Okay, now the GDP per capita. Now the GDP of per capita, each person in UAE, each local in UAE, has reached 59,900 or 220,000 dirhams for each person. This is the GDP per capita. Okay, fine. Now the government is trying hard to find jobs for locals, and because of this, there are over 2,000 employment replacements of expatriates by nationals annually. So each year, 2,000 employees, expats, leave the country or leave their jobs in the government sector, let's say, or private sector, and they are replaced by the locals. So the government is trying hard to find jobs for the Emiratis. And another thing that the government plans to Emiratize 300,000 jobs by 2020. So that's like next year. Now, within 20 years, 350,000 nationals will join the job market, and 20,000 nationals are expected to join the job market every year. Okay, so one of the things now, the government is replacing the expats with locals. This is one thing. Now, the other thing is that the government is trying to involve, and the private sector as well, is trying to involve the locals in different fields and to train them. In one of these is the Traditional Training Institutes of Higher Education. So they train the Emiratis, they train the locals, and they give them a job. I think the training it takes like between 6 months and 2 years. It depends on the place and the location of the job and the tasks related. Now the second one is the industry-based training. You will find Jamco, you will find Etisalat, you will find Emirates Airlines and the Gulf Aircraft. Okay, now Abu Dhabi-based center, which is CERT. Okay. And the second one is, the last one is a Special Cabinet Manpower Committee supervises the development of UAE human resources. Now, another thing that the government has done is the job sites. The Ministry of Labor has launched a website with a data bank for the job vacancies. So simply you can put your CV in the website, and the companies of private and public sectors, they can actually come directly. They have access to the website and search the CVs and find candidates. Okay, that's all for this chapter. It's so simple and very short. Thank you.